Yes, it's very interesting and mysterious thing. And there's aspects that are very new and I'm exploring. But I also have like many years of experience on, in a sense, the side of receiving transmission. But there isn't really, it's how it's perceived as in receiving, and actually what happens is how I'm seeing it and experiencing it now is kind of a recognition of something that's shared in a sense, but it's where the nature is of no separation. But it can still be interpreted as in receiving or transmitting. And that is happening in a certain way. But at the essence, it's requires for two people at least to be open. And if somebody, one of these two, is more grounded in that openness, there's going to be kind of a development of a substance. So that grounding in presence has a substantive quality. And there aren't really any words for it, but I've used the word substance, and recently talking to Richard, we were talking about that, and I was describing it from my end, and he's like, yes, it's exactly what I've called current. So when he uses the word current, it's the same. And requires for two people to be open, so a certain availability for that. But ultimately it's the recognition of something that's shared. And it can, at first, for example, from my experience, I felt like I was receiving transmission. And over time, I realized that what I felt wasn't something that was fully just received. It was igniting something in me. And it wasn't also, in a sense, igniting because it's something that was already in me. But it was kind of like activating something that was more still. Let's put it that way. And so it's like there's a substance that is still or has a certain dormancy and it's still. And then there's a proximity of someone that has that substantive aspect in more movement. And when you come close to that, and if you're open, your natural substantive self will start moving or resonating. And so there's a lot of metaphors for this. And there's a metaphor of the candle and the lamp, that a teacher is like a lamp that is lit, and yours is the lamp, the potential of a lamp is there, and the flame is then transmitted and shared. But I think it's a nice metaphor, but I don't find it's entirely true to my experience, in that for me there's something that the substance is already there and it's already in movement, but it's just increasing that movement. so that it becomes more available and present. And over time, it became more and more clear that everything that I had felt that was being transmitted to me was actually my own self that was being aroused, in a sense. And then experiencing that from the other end was also very interesting, because in the past I thought, or let's put it this way, I wasn't aware how much it depended on my openness. And for example, when I was around my teacher, I always felt that in some way. And I thought everybody would be feeling that around him because that was his nature. And over time, I've learned to see that my openness was fundamental, and that transmission would just not happen otherwise. It's something that happens from kind of that connection of a shared being. And so what is moving is the same in the other. But what really matters is the openness. And you could say it's related to, I was reading Ayashanti recently, and I really loved how he expressed something, that he was talking about Christ. And it has to do with being able to recognize divinity. And so if you recognize it in another, you recognize it in yourself. And by recognizing it in another, it gets kind of transferred and projected, but that relationship can, over time, mirror the fact that you are actually recognizing yourself and recognizing your own divine nature. It's different in that it's wild to be having this shift of understanding and also of experience, where it's happening in a sense in the other way around, but it's I know that it's not really that. It's not really the other way around. It's this paradoxical thing. It does, in a level, matter that another person is open, and then that will even be felt like coming from me, but it's more through me. And so it's like I can be available, and there's more of a, let's put it this way, there's more of an availability through time in myself for that to be available. But then when somebody else is open and available, then that kind of current that comes through me can also go and come through the other person, but it's not coming really from me. It's like if I was to kind of make up a map, it's two people, and somebody that's more established in that openness will just invite the other person to open up, but then the current is outside of both of them, and it is the essence of both of them, and it is bringing about that recognition of a shared essence. But the shared essence, at the level of that essence, there isn't a two-ness, there isn't and that current just basically is a resonance of this shared essence. But yeah, my experience has been quite recently, like some instances of very unexpected or wildness in that sense. from seeing like this is, well, seeing like it is very real and happening the other way to how I used to experience it. But it's very new for me also, and it's very much something that I'm learning and exploring. It's different ways, in different ways. It's very different because in ways it's at a more heart level, and in ways it's more of literally like a neutral current. But for me, it's become more normal in a sense. And then to notice that for another, that it could be quite destabilizing. It could have like a very powerful impact. And so that's something that that I'm kind of seeing and learning. But it's, yeah, for me, the experience is that it's a massive responsibility. And there's also a huge sense of responsibility first, and then there's a sense of something just very beautiful. It's just so much love and beauty in it. Yeah, I have. It's very tricky to describe because the I that has control, etc., etc. But the experience is that it's exactly both. So an aspect of it is totally beyond my understanding, my awareness, my control, and an aspect of it is fully under my awareness and my control. And at the same time, that which is under my awareness and control it's not fully that way. It's there's a responsibility to always check that what is that in service to, and the responsibility is this sense of that it's not in service to anything other than mystery. So that it's not in service to doing something or any kind of outcome that I could know or understand. But there is an aspect that is, and that's the part that I found to be hardest, is that it is like the part that is beyond me is in a sense easier, but what is under my control, to put it in a sense, is hardest because of the sense of responsibility. Yeah, the effect. I've already experienced how powerful the effect can be, and yeah, and it's a lot. It's a lot to yeah, it has those two sides. It's something that's a privilege. It's beautiful. There's just so much love in that, and the sense that it's a very delicate, important, and responsible thing. Yeah, I know both experiences. One that you describe of coming from another to me, and that I am even struggling to sit with that. It's too much. And the reverse is that it's part of it is generated internally and also coming through me. So it's coming from something that, but it feels very different to coming from a person through me, to me, versus coming from somewhere else through me and also generated within me. And there is no struggle to it's not like I'm struggling to sustain it or to, it's more of the responsibility of where it's going, in a sense, because I can there's a sense that I can hold it, kind of prevent it from going out or amplify it. Yeah. Yeah, it has many aspects, because there's also an aspect that is something that I'm not aware of, because it's become very, it's like when you go into like a water that's warm at a temperature that's comfortable, and then you stop feeling the sense of warmth, or you just don't have the experience of the water, right? If it's cold water, you're going to feel the cold water. If it's hot, you're going to feel hot. But when it's at a neutral temperature to your body, then you're going to forget that you're kind of feeling, you won't have a sensation of warm or cold. So it's like that. I think it's become in some ways something that I can't perceive, but I'm noticing it can have an effect. And it's more subtle, versus an aspect of it can be more intense. And by that I mean subtle in the sense that for somebody else it could just feel nice, and the other person can feel trusting and open, versus the intense part could be, it could feel very beautiful but very intense to the other person, and then they could go into terror because the sense is that they're dissolving or it's too much. Whereas for me, in that situation, it's the most comfortable thing. It's like being in a warm pool of water, and for the other person, it's completely terrifying. And that's how it was for me in the past, on the other receiving end. But I know that at the level there isn't there is a level where there is a directionality and a giving and a receiving, and at another level there isn't. I'm sure I could come up with some metaphor that like maps it better. It's almost like, imagine an ocean pulling the attention of a wave, the wave believing it's an ocean, and it's pulling its attention into the wave, pulling the attention of the wave into the ocean to know that it's an ocean. And so eventually what it's the awareness of the wave that believes it's just a wave is that it's the ocean. And then at that level, it's not a giving or receiving, because it's the shared oceanness that is being recognized. But that movement and that kind of magnetic pull of the awareness into the ocean feels like a giving and a receiving. And at that level, that it is a giving and receiving. But what it's moving the awareness into is a shared substantive nature. And what it can do is that for that wave, so a person can start to recognize that what they are isn't what they thought they were. And that at an essence level, you are that current. And this is what we're drawn to, what we try to feel into at some level with our hobbies, with our passions. It is a reconnecting with an essential part of our nature. But then when you open to that current directly, it's a complete, like the magnitude is vastly different. But if you go to a rock concert, or you could have probably experienced that in a smaller concert, but in a, when there's a lot of people, a lot of energy, that's what's moving. Everybody is moving into this substantive sense of self, and that's the well-being. But that same energy can be used in unconscious ways, and that's what Hitler did. It's moving that same energy, and he was actually aware of that. He intentionally developed those energies. And that's why there's a responsibility at that level. It comes with a very, at least it has for me, with a incredible sense of power. Yeah. Well, on the other side too, like when I felt that, the most intense time I felt that from Roberto, I felt I was sitting next to a divine being, that his own presence was completely going to eradicate me. And the experience was so powerful and charged and blissful, but also there was a reaction in me that was, I cannot handle it, and my whole body was shutting down. I was contracting involuntarily and weeping, trying to just sit with that. And I've seen that happen recently with somebody from the other side, where I intentionally experimented with that. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know that it's a way of helping, or helping dissolve. I think it's very mysterious, and so I think it's a way that it could provide a contrast of experience that could potentially help someone question their beliefs. That's kind of how I would say. There's a lot of coulds, potentially, possibly. It's like reality is not what you thought it was. And you could then just spend a lot of time denying the experience. But it's like, going down the rabbit hole. And for some people, I've seen that it's like, that was incredible, but I'm not going there again. Or because it challenges the most profound sense of self. You can't. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I was thinking that same thing, that because you were saying, right, because it can hit you in a good way or can hit you in a bad way, and how do you know? You can't know for sure. It's, I guess, something tells you intuitively, you know, it's the right time to do it or something, but well, that it, I mean, it could go well, or could not go well. It depends on the person who's receiving it. And
yeah, I don't have enough experience on kind of from the side of responsibility to know the effects and how well it can. I think it's more likely going to, like, at worst, it can be kind of contained in some interpretation and kind of controlled and explained by ego, kind of read. And then it's just like all that experience, and that it's understood and mapped in a way that keeps it kind of under control, in the sense of not really questioning very deeply what the hell that was and what are you really. Because it's basically like one of the closest experiences you can have to something that's divinity. And divinity is a word, right? It's pointing to that which is not, which is beyond and above humanity, right? So it's still in a dual perspective, but it's questioning the sense that what you are is known as your experience, as your current experience.